fuego que soy el fuego que arde tu piel, soy el agua que mata tu sed, el castillo, la torre, yo soy la espada que guarda el caudal, tú el aire que respiro yo y la luz de la luna en el mar, la garganta que ansío mojar, que temo ahogar. Te amo
Well, a very good morning and welcome to this latest leg of the FEI Jumping Nations Cup Youth Series. We're at leg 5 of the series today, which is taking place in Drammen in Norway, and we're kicking things off for you this morning with the children's category. We have 4 teams coming forward in this competition, representing Sweden, Norway, Finland and Denmark. Each of those teams fields 4 riders apiece, and this is a crucial stage in the series for those 4 teams. The highest ranked in the season standings of the 4 is Sweden. They are ranked in 11th place. Denmark follow them in 12th. Finland sit in 16th, and it's a first leg of the series for Team Norway. We kick things off though with our first rider for Sweden. Their chef d'équipe is Sofia Bengtsberg, and their first rider is Melody Ollinger with Low Hill I Know Dat. So Sweden looking to gain some valuable points at this 5th leg to try to join themselves, join those teams in some of the higher placings. Well, Melody Ollinger has shown some incredible riding there to get through the triple combination after a very difficult first jump in. This 17-year-old stallion showing all of his experience to really help her out there. Well, after something of a tricky jump into that triple combination, Melody Ollinger just comes home with 4 penalties, a time of 74.66 seconds, and our time allowed is 75 seconds in this competition, so she is inside the time allowed. Well, Finland are up next. Their chef d'équipe is Markus Backlund, and their first rider in is Nita Tolonen with Keep Going. Let's take a little look around the course then as Nita is tackling it. They have this oxer to start at fence 1, and then an upright here. This is fence 2, which is on a related distance then to the oxer at fence 3. She gets quite deep in there and unfortunately has the fence down. Keep Going is adding a bit of a flourish of his own. Another upright at fence 4 before this right-handed swing down through this line across the middle of the arena. Fence 5 there, and then a 7 strides down to the double at fence 6. Water jump comes up at fence 7. Of course, they must not put a hoof in the water. And then another up to height oxer over at fence 8 on the far side of the ring before they then head to the triple combination 9A, B and C. 1 stride in between the first 2 elements, and then 2 down to the C element. Another short related distance down to fence 10. For 2 fences left. She puts the 6 down to the final fence at fence 12. Again comes home inside the time allowed, and it's going to be 4 for jumping for Nita Tolonen and Keep Going. So the team's pretty well matched so far. No clears on the board yet. As we move on to Norway, this team making their debut for the series here in Drammen. It's Philippa Porsgrog Heistad riding Nildans, and their chef d'équipe is Tom Vidar Geldnes. Philippa competed this horse here in Drammen last week. It's been 2 fantastic weeks of competition at this venue, and she placed 8th in the Children's Grand Prix, fifth in the children's big tall class over fences of 1.20 m. These are 1.25 m in height for the children's category. Chips in a little bit to the water, but doesn't cause them a problem. This horse is a 12-year-old gelding and is Latvian bred. Been a good partner for Philippa for a couple of years now. Well, very fast time of 67.38, but crucially it is clear. A great way to kick things off for the Norwegian team in their debut in the 2024 season. Well, we go on to Laura Slotkjær of Denmark with Kjær's Sweetheart. Chef to keep is Ulrik Kjær. A little bit of a theme there. The Danish team is the one up next. Denmark sit in 12th place in the season standings, but this is only the second leg that they've competed at. They placed 4th in Stuchovice in the Czech Republic. But Laura is an extremely experienced competitor. She competed at the European Championships last year. Who's taking place in Italy. That was with her horse Quicora. One down in the double here. I think the triple combination is going to prove pretty influential. Laura just gets a little bit flat through the end of that combination there, and down comes the final rail. Well, a very good time again. It's 64.61 for our latest competitor, Laura Slotkjær, and 2 poles down gives her a score of 8. Of course, we need 3 counting scores in this competition. So we have 4 riders to come, and we drop the best score in each competition, in each of our teams. Drop the highest score in each of the teams. We keep the 3 best. All right, let's go back to Sweden then. Of course, as ever, we bring you the first riders for the teams, then the second riders for the teams, and so on. It's Jonathan Hansen with Mew Mew van Overis. Sweden have that score of 4 from Melody Orlinga. Jonathan competed at the first leg of this series this season at Centaur Park back in April. Jumped a great double clear to be on the second placed team for Sweden. That was with the horse Mac Jack Courtier. Mew Mew van Overis, though, is the selection for him today. Horse that was previously ridden by Gilles Thomas, who of course is right at the top of his game in the 5-star competitions. Also been ridden by Matilda Hansen of Sweden, so family affair. Let's get it on. Of course, had great success with Matilda as well, but it's a clear for the Swedish competitor, a 4 and a clear now, and so we can see that if they had 2 more clears, they would finish on a clean sheet. A little bit of a way to go in this competition, though, before we can start to look at the combined score per team. Going on then to Finland. Their second rider is Olivia Tuomi. Olivia rides Graal. Again, 4 faults for her teammate Nita Tolonen. This is Olivia's first appearance on a Nations Cup team, and only her second international competition over fences of this height. She competed at Centaur Park in a 1-star metre 25 course with this horse. Just had a few fences down there. She has had wins with this horse. A win at Centaur Park at the metre 10 height. Well, a fence down, heading towards the double combination, and it has a bit of a knock-on effect to the A element as well. Needs to keep the straightness there to the water. Just a little bit of a wandering line. But Graal is quite experienced. He's a 16-year-old gelding and is bred in Finland. Triple combination still causes problems. Great to see this horse giving Olivia a little bit of experience though, and stepping her up to the bigger height of fences. It will be 3 fences down, so a score of 12 for Olivia Tuomi. Again, a very quick time. Plenty of riders that you would bank on in a jump off in this field. Of course, if we have teams finishing on equal faults, they will go forward to a jump off to decide the placings. Okay, let's go back to Norway, the home team here in Drammen. And of course, this team making their debut for the season. It's Hedda Solberg Jacobsen, who rides La Perla VA. We have a clear already for the Norwegian team, that being from Philippa Påsgrov Heistad. Hedda again has been competing here in last week's round of competitions as well, and jumped really well in the Children's Grand Prix. Jumped clear in round 1 and then just 1 pole down in the jump off to finish in 4th place. All of her international career has been in Drammen so far. But that just tells you that this is a venue that is pretty familiar and pretty comfortable for this combination. Always good to jump in a ring that you know well. .70.65 is the time, again well inside the time allowed, and just that 1 pole down for Hedda Solberg Jacobsen. Looks like she is having quite a tough time to stop La Perla there, but a nice forward approach is always good, of course. Second rider in for Denmark now is Sasha Vestergaard Levesen. And she rides Heart Beats Breakout. Denmark on a score of 8 from their first rider. Be great to be able to drop that score if they can. This is Sasha's first international competition. This horse's first international competition as well. He's a long one. He's a 14-year-old Danish bred gelding. And as that name may suggest to you, there is Heartbreaker breeding. That is the grandsire of this horse. Heartbreaker, of course, used as the stallion for many top horses around the world. pretty swiftly through the triple combination. I think she was quite lucky with that forward approach not to have a fence down there. But this now looking better. She's got the balance back. And good to the final fence as well. Another very good time of 67.71, but it's another score of 8. So that's the minimum score that the Danish team will finish on. I.e., even if their third and fourth riders jump clear. Let's go back to Sweden now then. The third rider for the team is Kasper Jonberg. And Kasper rides Elenofi BN. Kasper has quite some pace up here already. He's going to need to be a little bit careful. Jumps quite sideways over that upright and really drives into the oxer there. He's just jumping to the right quite a bit over these fences, so he just needs to work on the straightness a little bit. They are fairly established over this height of fences. And he competed Elenofi in a metre-25 Grand Prix at Centaur Park last month with a few fences down. She is a 15-year-old mare, bred in the Netherlands. She's really looking into the bottom of these fences, but seems to be getting away with it broadly. 2 fences down, it's a total score of 8 for Kasper Jonberg. Now that means that if we can drop that score of 8, Sweden will finish on 4, providing they have a clear. So a strong score. Of course, we take the combined score of the best 3 riders per team from round 1, and we'll add them to the scores of the best 3 riders from round 2. Doesn't have to be the same 3 riders, it's just the 3 best scores per round. Well, Isabel Ovelson is next to take to the stage. Isabel rides higher. Again, she's been here for the competitions in Drammen last week as well, and finished 9th in the children's small tour class with Haya. Jumped her other ride, Oksana, in the children's small tour final for 7th place. In the big tour classes, she finished 7th and 8th. She jumped higher in the Nations Cup at Centaur Park last month for a double clear. So looks like a pretty solid combination. Good one to bank on. Finland on a score of 4 and 1 of 12. This is just a horse that Isabel has been riding since the start of this year, end of 2023. Former ride of Piet Raymakers. Starts to fall apart a little bit towards the end of the course, but again a very quick time and a score of 8. Minimum score possible for the Finnish team then will be 12. Starts to drop them down the rankings a little bit. All right then, the home team are up once again. Third rider for them is Twiggy Josephine Ars Sander with Quinine. This pair were second in the Children's Grand Prix last week here. Again, just one down in the jump off. They also play second in the metre 20 Big Tour class. So they are really on form. Been jumping extremely well. She also had some time with this horse down on the Sunshine Tour in Oliva, jumping up to the metre 30 level. And in fact finished 10th in a metre 30 speed class down in Spain. She's a 16-year-old mare. Was ridden by Catherine Aas earlier on. But Twiggy has had this ride for about a year now. Just the final fence to go for Twiggy Josephine Aas Sander. And comes home with a clear. The recent form of this combination really being evident. We only have 3 clears so far in this competition, and 2 are for the Norwegian home team. They are looking really strong. Of course, a win would get them 100 points for the season standings. .100 points would put them into 10th place as it stands. So let's go to Denmark now once again, to Holger Harstrup Christensen with Ranger Vante Zittert. Holger competed in the Nations Cup at Zduchovice. That's a shame to have an early fault. Working on the 4 already. He jumped double clear there with the horse Cavallino. Ranger Vante Zittert having some problems in the double combination here. He's only a 7-year-old gelding. Holger has competed this horse internationally up to the metre 15 level. Just going to reapproach at the double. Does really well to get through there at the second time of asking. The time will be quite costly here, unfortunately. Again, really looks into the bottom of the fence. Well done, Holger. Very good to get through the triple combination there. Now it's taking a bit of a steadier approach, but some nice jumping. Just really seems to stand off these fences. It's a little bit stuck, so it will be quite costly for time. The total score is 26 for Holger Harstrup Christensen. Puts Denmark to a score of a minimum of 16 and drops them into 4th place. Well, we're on to the final rider per team now. Let's Hannah Blomberg next. And Hannah rides Mini. She competed Mini at the Nations Cup leg in Compiègne. Unfortunately, they were eliminated, so I'm sure she'll be looking for a good performance today to make up for that. Swedish team on a score of 4.
deep down we could dive, everything to make us feel alive.
We're working on the 8 now.
Keep us dry tonight.
Good through the triple. Gets a bit close into the final fence, but doesn't cause them a problem. She will pick up 12 penalties with Minnie, and theirs will be the drop score. So we'll count a score of 4, a clear, and a score of 8 for the Swedish team, and their round 1 total is 12. Swiftly on then back to Finland. Their final rider is Sani Ili. Sani Ili rides backwards challenger. She's also a rider from the European Championships last year. She rode the horse Janka at that championships. She also competed this horse in the Nations Cup at Centaur Park. They had 2 down in round 1 and then just 1 down in round 2. However, again, a combination on form. They were the winners of the Children's Grand Prix here in Drammen last week. A double clear and a sensational jump off time. In fact, they have won all 3 of their competitions in the competitions here last week. So certainly a great choice for the Finnish team. They haven't had a clear yet, but 3 wins on the bounce for Sani Ili. This horse was a former ride of Marco Kutscher. There's an 11-year-old stallion. Well, that form shows through in that performance. It's a clear round, the first one for the Finnish team. Brilliant performance for Sani Ili. Continues to jump really well here in Drammen. So we'll drop the score of 12 for the Finnish team. We'll count that clear, a score of 4 and a score of 8. And that gives them a team total as well as the Swedish team of 12. So those 2 neck and neck going into round 2. Just 2 riders remain. Two riders remain, and the next represents Norway, our home team. It's Elsa Gunilla Sandven. Elsa's mount is Casemiro CC. The Norwegian team have 2 clears already and 1 score of 4. So whatever the score is that Elsa manages to get here, the worst score possible for the Norwegian team is 4, and they will go through in the leading spot into round 2. She's had a lot of experience with this horse, jumping up to the 2-star level competitions, plenty of 1-stars. Again, another combination who've really been putting in the hours down on the Sunshine Tour in Spain. This is a former ride of Douglas Lindelof of Sweden, who competed this horse in some top 5-star competitions in Dinard, in Falsterbo, and in Gothenburg. What a great combination, and Casemiro CC showing all of his class. This 13-year-old gelding, expertly piloted by Elsa Gunilla Sandven. It's the first appearance of the series for the Norwegian team, and they have absolutely made their mark. We will drop that only pole dropped for the team. 1 pole across all 4 riders. Fantastic performance. Gives them a 0 score going into round 2. And they will be the leaders. One rider remains in round 1. This is Victoria Lillelund Nielsen. Rides Corvitas. Danish team have that tricky score on the board from Holger Harstrup Christensen, so they need to drop that score. 1 down already at fence 2 for Victoria. Oh, that is a real shame. Gets a bit close in at fence 3, and unfortunately she parts ways with Corvitas. Unfortunately, that will incur elimination. But as I was saying, it's a tricky score as well from Holger Harstrup Christensen. So a quick bit of maths there for you. Gives them a team total of 42, as we have to discount the elimination and count that hefty 26 vaulting score. Denmark then will come back first in round 2, because we'll go in reverse order of placings from round 1. Their score is 42. Neck and neck, we have Sweden and Finland, both on 12 faults apiece. Finland will come, in fact Sweden will come in second. They're just a fraction slower than the Finnish team. They'll be followed in by Finland, leading the way the home team of Norway. A 0 score for them from round 1. Of course, though, this is a 2-round competition. We will be bringing you this second round very, very shortly. We have some individual competitors that will tackle this course first. 9 individuals, in fact. So I'll leave you to enjoy the 9 individuals tackling this children's competition. It's going to be a children's big tour class for them. And I will join you once again then for the Children's Nations Cup second round. We'll be anticipating that in probably about 20 to 30 minutes time. So do stay with us. We'll bring you the second round very, very shortly.
First time I met House, I was lost in the space. You see, I came there alone, but she made me feel right at home. First time I met House, she was deeper than deep. I felt a chill down my spine, from my head to my feet. First time I met House, I knew our love would last forever, because that night she blew my mind. It was a sign from the divine. You
cold hot sweat, wondering was it true? Was my mind playing tricks on me? Did my heart and my ears deceive? Or was it just a lovely dream I had one summer's eve? First time I met House, I promised I'd leave her for no other, even though I knew she had a million lovers just like me, embraced her songs and melodies, forever dictating my Saturday nights and Sunday afternoons. I guess I'll be a fool was long, she wants me to.
So bright, hard to hang on in the blazing light. And I sing so loud, no one's getting what's all about. Now by thought I'm here and now. I pick my poison, count my blessings, till it's all played out. We hate to lose on this bad luck run, playing our cards fair, but still holding on. Is that a fight?
depths of your despair, and it's all in the name of love. 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 In the name screaming the holy lies. You bring me back to life, and it's all in the name of love. I wanna testify, screaming the holy lies. You bring me back to life, and it's all in the name of love. In the name of love.
Vou deitar pra pensar, em Copa vou comemorar, Leme vou pra caminhar, na Urca vou parar e ficar, no Horto eu vou mergulhar, Flamengo eu vou pra torcer, Laranjeiras vou te conhecer, na Lapa eu vou te buscar. Carioca beija todo mundo, carioca deita nu, carioca não sente calor, carioca faz amor, ela samba com quem ela quer, pega trânsito, pega a mulher. Carioca beija todo mundo, carioca deita nu, carioca não sente calor, carioca faz amor, ela samba com quem ela quer, pega trânsito, pega a mulher. Santa vou almoçar, na Penha eu vou pra rezar, na Barra a gente vai gastar, Lagoa vou pra pedalar. Carioca beija todo mundo, carioca deita nu, carioca não sente calor, carioca faz amor, ela samba com quem ela quer, pega trânsito, pega a mulher. beija todo mundo. Carioca deita nu. Carioca não sente calor. Carioca faz amor. Ela samba com quem ela quer. Ela trança e pega a mulher.
Very good morning to you once again, everybody, and welcome back to this fifth leg of the FEI Jumping Nations Cup Youth Series. We are taking you through this competition for the children's division in Drammen in Norway. Fifth leg of the series. Of course, we've already been to Centaur Park in Belgium, to Compiègne in France, Stujovice in the Czech Republic, and Linz-Ebelsberg in Austria. So we're at the halfway stage. We have 5 more legs of this series, including the one that we are taking you through today. Beautiful sunshine in Drammen in Norway, and we have 4 teams in the children's division here. We're on to the second round of competition now, and out of these 4 teams, the one coming forward first is the one that finished in 4th place after round 1. It's Team Denmark, with Laura Slotker coming forward first. So we are jumping in reverse order of placings from round 1. Denmark on a score of 42 from round 1. Laura herself dropped just 2 poles in that first round. Unfortunately, one of their team was eliminated in round 1, and they had quite a hefty score from their third rider, and that's what's resulted in this score of 42. As ever, we have a drop score per team, so we'll drop the highest score of the 4 riders, and we need 3 counting scores. Laura uses her body well to get the balance back in the triple combination. She's really working hard to maintain the control with Kier's Sweetheart. Good to the final fence as well. She'll drop another 2 poles here for the Danish team. So on your graphic there you can see penalties 8, total 16. That is for your current competitor. So 8 in round 1, 8 in round 2 for Laura. Next up we have the Swedish team. They were one of 2 teams coming forward on a score of 12. Sweden come forward first because they were just a fraction slower than Team Finland. Their first rider for round 2, once again, is Melody Ollinger. She just dropped 1 pole with Low Hill I Know Dat in round 1. And the Swedish team have a score of 12 from round 1. If you're just joining us, Sweden are the highest ranked team in the overall season standings out of those competing in today's competition. So a win would give them 100 points. That is the way that it works. And it would see them jump up to 4th place in the season standings. So really valuable. Meanwhile, Denmark sit in 12th, Finland sit in 16th, and it's the first show of the season, the first children's leg of the season for the Norwegian team. Comes the final fence. Well, she's a little bit slower this time around. It's 73.65. and just drops the 1 pole once again. So score of 8 is for Melody Odinga, but we don't really look at a score for the individual riders. We need to look at the team score. She just dropped 1 pole. For Finland then, the first rider in is Nita Tolonen. Again, just dropped 1 pole, and the horse is called Keep Going. Finland also on a score of 12. And this is only the second leg of the season for the Finnish children's team. They finished 7th at Centaur Park. I'm sure we'd be really keen to finish a little bit higher up today. The team that leads the season standings is Belgium, having had 2 wins and a second place finish already. Germany in 2nd, Poland in 3rd. In round 1, the triple combination caused a good few problems. Either riders getting in a little bit deep or just getting a bit flat and quick through the latter parts of the combination. Down goes that Oxa. The penultimate fence goes down for Nita Dolan, and she's going to pick up 1 time penalty as well. First time penalty for the Finnish team. Our time allowed is 75 seconds. And of course, we pick up 1 time penalty for every second started over the time allowed. On to the leading team now. It's the home team of Norway. Their team were really solid in round 1, securing 3 clears. Just 1 pole dropped across their 4 riders. Extremely impressive record for them. First out is Philippa Påskrog Hestad with Nildance. And she was clear in round 1. That's such a shame. Just takes the front rail down, just got a little bit close in. And down it came with the front hooves. They do have a little bit of breathing room though. Way on that score, 0 then. Their nearest rivals are on 12. That's such a shame. What a late falling pole in the middle of the triple there. Rattles the plank at the final fence as well. It's going to be 2 down for Philippa Påskrog Hestad. But we may be able to drop that score. You can see that the pressure is on. It's a really prestigious occasion for these young riders to be selected to represent their nation. And I have no doubt they will be feeling the pressure somewhat, especially coming into the second round. Back to Denmark then, to Sasha Vestergaard Levison with Heartbeats Breakout, this horse whose grandsire is Heartbreaker. That breeding which we see right to the top of the sport. This combination dropped 2 poles in round 1. Contributing to that score of 42. Bart Vonk and Uni Gustafsson are the course designers for today's competition. Bart Vonk is from Belgium and Uni Gustafsson is from Sweden. water jump, a key feature of this class, but with the small wall and the poles in front, it looks a little bit more like a fence and hasn't really caused a problem. At previous legs of this competition, we have seen the water jumps cause quite some issues, always eye-catching. And excellent riding from Sasha Vestergaard Levison of Denmark to get the first clear for the Danish team. Nothing further to add. Height of these fences is 1.25 meters. So plenty of these riders have competed up to this level, some of them even up to 1.30 meters. But we see on some of these records, as we were going through earlier on, some of them are more established to the 1.10 meters, 1.15 meter level. These are 1.25 meters. Let's head on then back to Sweden, to Jonathan Hansen with Miu van Overis. This combination were clear in round one, the only clear of the Swedish team. And I'm sure he would love to be able to say he has jumped a double clear. Very prestigious thing to be able to say you've jumped a double clear in a Nations Cup competition. Plenty of these riders have competed already this season in the Nations Cup series, or indeed in previous seasons. He just needs to get his balance back a little bit, needs to maybe just sit up a little bit because they're really looking into the bottom of the fences here. Now better. But it is a double clear for Sweden's Jonathan Hansen and Miu van Overis. Nothing further to add for the Swedish team. They're looking very strong indeed. So now they have a 4 and a clear. Remember, they were neck and neck with Finland following round one. So it's going to be crucial to see how our next rider does. Also could be crucial, that time penalty from Nita Tolonen. That could make all the difference. Olivia Tuomi is their second rider with Graal. Finnish team plenty of them have competed here already in last week's competition. 2 fantastic weeks taking place here in Drammen. Oh, what a pity. We haven't seen that fence go down too much, actually, but Olivia Tuomi just clips the pole coming into the double there. Graal, this 16-year-old Finnish-bred gelding. Had a couple of wins with him in Centaur Park. Those coming at the 1.10 level. But this horse has jumped up to 1.40 height of fences with the Estonian rider Greta Veska. Safely home inside the time allowed, but 1 pole down for Olivia Tuomi and Graal. Really good improvement though from round one. They dropped 3 poles in round one and now just 1 in round 2. So really nice to see that improved performance. It will though put Finland onto a minimum score of 16. Sweden with that clear could still finish on 12. Well, Hedda Solberg Jakobsen is in next, riding for Norway with La Perla VA. This combination who had 2 4th-place finishes last week, 4th in the Children's Grand Prix and 4th in the Children's Big Tour class. Just one pole dropped in round 1. The only one of the whole team, and we really could do with a clear here. She's going quite steadily. We have seen some really fast times. Fastest time of round 1 was 64.61, and that was from Denmark's Laura Slotker. Well, sadly, 2 further fences down for Hedda Solberg Jakobsen of Norway. Means that Norway go to a score of 8 at least. Even if their 3rd and 4th riders can jump clear, they will finish on a score of 8 now. Sweden are very much knocking on the door. So we are halfway through round 2, just 8 more riders to bring you. And we go back to Denmark now, to Holger Harstrup Christensen with Ranger van de Zittert. Holger really had that unfortunate performance in round 1, had a refusal in the double, and then it became very costly on the clock, and so that is what has resulted in that score of 26 in round 1. But something to bear in mind that Ranger van de Zittert is the youngest horse in the field at only 7 years old. Here's where he came unstuck in round 1. Good to see them through safely now in round 2. This is also only his 2nd international competition with this horse. We jumped in Kronenberg last month, and prior to that this horse was developed in the young horse classes by Ian Fives of Ireland. Again, he's just getting quite close into these fences. We just need a little bit more space on the approach. That was better. Again, quite deep in there. But just one pole down for Denmark's Holger Harstrup Christensen. It will put the team onto a total of 46. That's assuming we can drop the score of 8. But I think we can quite safely say that Denmark will finish in 4th place in this competition. And let's go back to Sweden, who are really knocking on the door and looking to climb up the ranks. It's Kasper Jonberg next, with Eleanor Fee BN. Eleanor Fee, of course, this 15-year-old Dutch-bred mare. Kasper dropped 2 poles in round 1. Sweden now on this score of 12, but anything more, down goes a pole. That's going to put Kasper onto 4, of course, but the team will go onto a score of 16. Possibly a little bit more room than for the Norwegian team. Oh! and that is such a shame. They were jumping really well. Eleanor Fee is still continuing as if she is going to head out around the rest of the course, but just literally jumped out of the saddle. Casper Ljungberg landed and sadly was out of the front door. So unfortunately that's elimination for the Swedish team. That means that whatever Hannah Blomberg does must count. They must have the 3 scores, counting Sweden onto a score of 16. Well, we just take a minute's pause while Eleanor Fee BN is reunited with Casper Jon. Around 6 riders remain in this competition. We'll be heading on to Finland next. Their 3rd rider is Isabel Olsen. Finland now on the score of 16 as well, but whatever Isabel can do will be absolutely crucial for their team score. Just take the opportunity to run you through the programme for the rest of the day. Of course, we are bringing you all categories of this FEI Jumping Nations Cup Youth Series, all live on FEI TV. We are now onto the children's competition, but next category we have for you will be the Ponies Nations Cup. That's going to kick off at 2:15 local time, 1:15 if you're watching in the UK. Following that, we will have the Junior Nations Cup at 4:15 local time, 3:15 if you're in the UK. And finally, the Young Rider Nations Cup will begin at 5:45 local time. 6:45 local time, 5:45 if you are watching in the UK. As ever, we always have these individual competitors in between round 1 and round 2, so plenty of action to bring you as the day progresses. Isabel Olsen is now ready and raring to go for Team Finland with Higher. So remember, Finland's now on a score of 16. Exactly the same score as Team Sweden. Isabel dropped 2 poles in round 1. She's been competing this horse as well as Oksana AEG in the competitions here last week. But she did jump the Nations Cup at Centaur Park for a double clear with Higher. This is her 2nd appearance for Finland. Again, really using her body to get the balance back there. Just 2 fences left to go for Isabel. Ooh, very tricky jump, but Higher really helped her out. That was incredibly impressive from this horse. I am not quite sure how she got round there without a fence down. Absolutely sensational jumping. What a horse Higher is. Fantastic, fantastic horse to see in action for those final 2 fences. Nothing to add for Isabel Olsen. Finland stay on the score of 16. Back to our leading team now then. The horse is Quinine and the rider is Twiggy Josephine Os Sander. Quinine is a 16-year-old mare. And Twiggy was 2nd in both the Children's Grand Prix and the Children's Big Tour class here last week with this very horse. She was clear in round 1. We do have a pole down here now. She is really getting quite stuck into the fences, really looking into the bottom of them. We just need a bit more forward momentum. That puts Norway onto a score of 12. plenty of top 10 placings with this horse. Former rider of Catherine Aas of Norway as well. Well, just that one pole down for Twiggy Josephine Aas Sander. The team score for the Norwegian team goes up to 12. They stay in the lead. Finland and Sweden up to scores of 16 faults apiece. Well, one rider remains per team. Sweden will be the first nation to round out their score sheet. As we just await their final rider, it will be Hannah Blomberg and Minnie. Sweden and Finland battling it out for those podium places at the moment for second and third. Realistically, they will be one of those two placings, as Denmark are now up to a score of 54. Hannah Blomberg then and Minnie. They dropped 3 poles in round 1, and whatever they do here has to count, as Kasper Jonberg was unfortunately eliminated. This pair jumped in Compiègne, were unfortunately eliminated. So these riders will be really hungry for a good result here to make up for that. Oh, strong riding into that upright. Unfortunately, it's a refusal though. So the clock has stopped. 4 has been added for Hannah Blomberg and the Swedish team. I'm sure we'll be watching on the sidelines, and things are looking a little bit trickier now. Hannah Blomberg then reapproaches and no problems on the second time. Still on the 4, and she's not too far away from the time allowed, considering that there will be time penalties to pick up. But very well done to not pick up too much. It's just 7 for Hannah Blomberg and Minnie. Means that they discount the elimination. It's 11 as a team total in round 2. Gives them a score across the 2 rounds of 23. Well, Sunny Illy with Backwards Challenger is the next rider in. This pair are incredibly on form. They won all 3 of their classes here last week. The 2 children's Big Tour classes and the children's Grand Prix. And to win those 3 competitions, that meant that they required 5 clear rounds. And of course some good speed as well. It really showed how on form they are with their clear in round 1. Sunny Lee is looking to try to keep Finland ahead of Team Sweden. Having said that, if they count the scores they have already, then they will go ahead. Pole down now. 2 down in fact. But they should still be safe, as this will be the counting of the drop score. In fact, they'll count the 5 and the 4. Over the loss then, Sani Ili picks up 8 for Finland. That will be the drop score for the team. They'll add 9 to the score of 12 from round 1, and their team total across the 2 rounds is 21. Keeps them ahead of Sweden. We hear that the final rider for Denmark was in fact eliminated, and that means that they count 12 from round 2, and the Danish team total is 54 across the 2 rounds. So Denmark on 54, Sweden on 23, Finland on 21, Norway now on to their final rider. It's Elsa Gunilla Sandvend with Casemiro CC. Well, Elsa was clear in round 1. She's now picked up an early fault. Puts them onto a team total of 16. We could do without having any more, because we're going for the win here, of course. Casemiro CC. Brilliant performance from the Norwegian team in round 1 for those 3 clears. They've managed to keep things together to still be in a really strong position compared to the other teams. 2 fences left to go for Elsa Gunilla Sandvend. She's going for the win for the Norwegian team and gets there just the 1 pole down. They will drop one of their scores of 8, and the score will be 16 for the Norwegian team. A little bit of a different story from round 1 to round 2. But crucially, it does give them the win on their debut in this series, and of course on home soil in Drammen. They will be your winners. Team Finland finish in 2nd place, Sweden finish in 3rd, and Denmark finish in 4th place. 100 points for the season goes to the Norwegian team, and that puts them into 10th place. There's the results from the individual riders. So Jonathan Hansen of Sweden, the only person to clinch the double clear. Of course, though, this is a team competition, and the crucial thing is that Norway are your winners. "16 riders coming forward. 4 teams. Norway as the home team winners. Well, the arena is just going to be organised now, ready, I believe, for the prize giving ceremony. Also, of course, the course will need to be changed for our next competition, and that next competition, as we were just chatting about earlier, will be the Ponies Nations Cup. That's going to be kicking off at 2:15 local time. 3 teams coming forward there: Norway, Denmark and Sweden. Some really exciting riders and horses to watch in that competition. So do stay with us. We will be bringing you the prize giving ceremony for this class in a moment's time. Well, here come your top 3 teams for the prize giving then in this Children's Nations Cup competition.